Let's do this, people. Woo, woo. What's up? What's going on, everybody? Surprise stream. Boo. I didn't change the tweet. What's up, everybody? Let's do it. Let's let a couple people trickle in first, and then we'll jump off. Hope everybody's having a good Wednesday. It is Wednesday, right? I don't really remember days any longer. Yeah, we'll let a couple people figure out that this is actually a real thing. But we'll take a look at some NBA for like the next 20 minutes or so. Lots to like, actually. If I had any interest in playing, I would play. Yeah, I'm alive. I was gone for one live stream night. We'll get used to it, because there's going to be a lot of Jake soon. I'm glad the live stream was hilarious. That's good. That's good. It makes me feel confident. Who wins the series, Cavs or Pacers? I hope the Cavs. It's just more interesting if LeBron is playing. Alrighty. Ooh. Tired. Trying to wake up. Yeah, NBA is going to be pretty interesting. It's very different on FanDuel and DK. Like, wildly different. So, I'm anxious to dig into this. LeBron has 75 fantasy points tonight. That would surprise me. Well, it wouldn't surprise me, but I don't see that coming. Love is a guy that I don't have a ton of on FanDuel, but he would be around a lot on DK. Let's take a look at Cleveland first. Man, the Cavs are bad. Yeah, Love at 6,700 is hard to avoid on DK. I don't have as much of an interest in him on FanDuel at 77. So I know you're going to do less live before lock, but will we still be seeing your other shows? Yeah, so the baseball shows aren't going anywhere. I will participate in the night shift podcast from time to time. Baseball will be here all the time. You know, when the NBA season starts again next year, you know, this will be the normal show as it usually was. So nothing's changing. It's just so that I don't have to be basically live 5 days a week and like never eat dinner like a normal person. So generally speaking, Tuesdays and Thursdays are going to be probably Jake nights. But it'll depend on, like, you know, there's no hard and fast rules. We're just going to try to rotate around. Yeah, LeBron and Kevin Love are like the only two guys that I have any major interest in on the Cavs. Like, I wouldn't expect Korver to go for 29 again. I want to see George Hill play better, but you know, he's got to be on the court first. What is this? Why is there no grand total? Design, grand total. on for both. Ah, it's hidden. I get it. That makes sense. Much better. Yeah, give me some LeBron and Love. LeBron's tough to get to, man. There's just so much more like available talent at small forward, which is so weird because that's not how it was during the regular season. All right, so I ran 100 lines on FanDuel and DK before we started. This is the FanDuel portion right now. A lot of Westbrook, a lot of favors. Melo is coming up pretty big, 5,600 on FanDuel. Lots of Turner, Mike Scott, and Otto Porter. But the main takeaway here is that Russ is the guy on FanDuel for me tonight. So if I were building like a single line, I would probably start with Russ. I'll do this for DK then as well. Let's look at center because that'll dictate a lot. Miles Turner, 5,800. Even center has a ton. Like Gobert, Towns, Turner, Valanciunas, Adams, Capella, even Gortat. They're all applicable plays. Maybe I could let center go. You know, power forward almost has to be favors and someone, so I'll go that direction. The other point guard to go with Russ is predominantly Rubio, which surprises me. But I guess 7,400 is sort of hard to ignore. I kind of want to take a look at Teague. So if I grab Teague, where can I go? Okay, so you can get to Russ and LeBron. So those are 3 lines with Russ and LeBron. Do I like any of them more than the others? I like this third one, I think, the most. But I would be fine playing any sort of combination of these in a GPP. You know, you got to take some chances. So, like, whether that's Ariza or Lance, Korver, JR, you know, you kind of got to do some of that stuff. I'm trying to figure out which one I like the most here. It honestly might be this one, but it's really hard to go to Lance. You know, I had a big game in the last one in the loss, but yeah, maybe this is the one. That's not too shabby of a lineup. You know what? I'm gonna throw that into something tonight. Yeah, I agree, Jared. Middle line is the best. I'm gonna toss that into something. Let's put that into single entry. Russ, Teague, DeMar, JR. Russ, Teague, DeMar, JR, LeBron, Lance, Melo. What was that? Mike Scott and Turner. Go fuck with that. There we go. We'll keep an eye on that one tonight. Something to do. So there we go. There's a random little FanDuel line. Let's take a look at DK. DK's pricing is just so different so different. Well, it's going to be hard to not have Miles Turner, I think. 5,100 on FanDuel. Or on DraftKings, rather. I mean, that's just a bargain for a center, especially when you can play more than one center. Hasn't been crazy good in this series, only over 30 once, but I at least have to start with Turner. I'm probably more likely to get to Gobert as well. Yeah, I think I have to go Gobert. Gobert's been quiet, but 7,000 on DraftKings. I have to look that direction. So let's grab Gobert. Who's next? I feel like Goldberg. It's the next budget-y play. Probably Otto Porter. So we're chipping away slowly but surely. So who's the stud then? Paul? Is Chris Paul in a really good spot on DK? Maybe. B plus 8,200. Let's look at Paul. Which leads me, yeah, Kevin Love on DK is nice. I gotta look that direction. So we got 5 lines there. Let's sort those out. What do I prefer here? I'd rather not have that PJ Tucker line. So let's ignore that one. I mean, this one looks okay. I think I probably like this one the most. Well, let's see. Yeah, Lowry, Gordon, Markieff, Kevin Love, Turner, Paul, Porter, Gobert, I think looks like a really nice DK lineup. Let's take a look at each game. We'll talk about what's good. We'll start with Cleveland. So Cavs, I know I touched on it just a couple minutes ago. For me, it's just Braun and Love, and then if you need to take someone like JR or Korver to fill out, I don't have a huge problem with it. I don't love JR on DK. On FanDuel at 3,600, I think it's a bit more feasible. So try to focus on LeBron and Love. Surprise, surprise. I wouldn't bet on Korver having that same sort of shooting day as he did last time. So Smith, for me, on FanDuel is a better look. For the Pacers, I mean, Oladipo at 8,100 on DraftKings is a steal, as is Miles Turner. Both of those guys are guys that I would want to take a look at. The only problem there is that 99.75 implied total for the Pacers. They're playing really slow, so you do need to factor that in a little bit. But I'd look at Oladipo. I'd look at Miles Turner. You know, I think Darren Collison is very much in play at his price point. People are going to be on Lance, particularly on FanDuel, where he's 3,800. I don't have much of an issue there. And there's always the threat of Bojan heating up, 2 games in the 30s. But Oladipo and Turner are just such amazing values at their price points. Those are the directions I would want to go. Toronto and the Wizards. Raptors 111.5 implied total, second overall. You know what you're getting here for the most part. Some combination of Lowry and DeRozan. Lowry's been consistent. DeRozan's been a little bit more up and down. I'd rather have Lowry on DK. I'd be fine paying a little bit more for DeRozan on FanDuel. If we're talking about guys sort of down the line, I think Jonas is worth a peek. He's not my favorite center, mostly because of Turner's price, but I don't have a problem having Jonas. DeLon Wright is not a guy that I want a lot of. I really wouldn't want much Surge either. Yeah, like I think Jonas, then Lowry on DK. Those would be my two favorite things coming out of this game from Toronto, at least. For the Wizards, 104 implied total is 5th. Man, Wall's price is just so big, but going for 63 in the last game and 68 the game before that, it's going to be really hard to keep his salary down. I think I'd much rather take a look at Beal. 7,800 on FanDuel, 7,600 on DK. Went for 46.8 on 420. I think I'd rather go for Beal and save the money on Wall. Otto Porter looks like a really nice option at small forward. Just games in the mid-20s, he's been consistent. Can definitely play bigger minutes and go off. So I think Porter makes for a really nice value in the middle tier of salaries. You gotta look at guys like Markieff Morris. Mike Scott on FanDuel, 3,700 is a guy that's going to be, I would imagine, pretty popular as far as like value plays go. I'm not a big Gortat guy. Hasn't been playing all that well in the series, so Beal, Porter, and Mike Scott are the guys that I'd be looking at on Washington. I don't get the sense that Wall would be a guy that's going to show up a ton, but let's double check it. So Wall came up in one of the 100 lines that I created on DraftKings, and he's in 4 of the 100 lines I created on FanDuel. So John Wall does not appear to be the play for me today. I'll go to Houston. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up. I know there's not a ton of you guys out there right now. What do we got, like 40? Yeah, 52. We're climbing. Just wanted to do a little bit of NBA talk for people to check it out. Harden looks great. I think Chris Paul looks great. I think this game's going to get closed out tonight. I'd rather have Harden than Wall, at least on DK. I'm not a big Trevor Ariza guy in fantasy, just because he tends to have like really empty games, does a lot of things that don't necessarily translate, but he's always a threat to go off. If he bangs a couple corner threes and gets like 2 or 3 steals, he can accumulate points in a hurry. Capella is not the kind of guy that I'm looking for in this series. So I think if I were grabbing anything from Houston, I would start with Chris Paul on DK, Eric Gordon on DraftKings, 4,800. I think he's very much worth a look. And then probably Harden would be my third guy coming out of this game. Wolves, we've talked about it before. Well, not before, but earlier. I took Teague in the FanDuel lineup. I like Teague on both sites. 6,500 on FanDuel, 6,000 on DK. It's hard to not like Teague at those prices. I'm just waiting for Jimmy Butler to have like a monster game. It's just not there. I don't know if he's not healthy or what. 8,400, 7,900. I want to like Butler. I can't get there. It's just not there for me. Towns, same sort of scenario. I just feel like these guys aren't getting over the hump. I don't have a ton of interest in Wright, whether or not Van Vliet plays. I have less of, I don't have a problem with it if Van Vliet is out. I wouldn't touch him if Van Vliet was in. I guess we need to talk about Derrick Rose a little bit. 4,000 on FanDuel, 4,600 on DK. If you want to run out Rose on FanDuel, I think that's fine. On DK, I don't love it. I think that Rose's minutes and his production is going to be very much tied to how the Minnesota starters are doing. I don't think he's going to be out on the court all that much if Minnesota starters are playing well. And if the game goes to shit, then he might be out there. That's not really the way that I love like planning out a lineup. I think there's enough value out there that you don't have to go to Rose. He's more of like a multi-entry GPP guy for me. Yeah, if Tyus Jones is out, that changes the equation a little bit more. But I don't see Rose being a factor unless the game isn't going well for the Wolves. OKC, backs against the wall. It's hard not to like Russ. He's priced at 10-6. He's going to be crazy, crazy popular tonight. With good reason. You should, I'm expecting everything out of Russ, or their season ends, basically. Not basically. It absolutely ends. And then this team doesn't look like that because Paul George is looking out of here if they lose today. I like Paul George like a little bit. 2 games in the 40s in this series. 8,100 and 8,000 FanDuel and DK. Definitely a guy that you should pay attention to. But I think Melo might actually be the best value here. 26, 27, 29, 38. Those are his point totals here. He's 5,600 on FanDuel. I like him quite a bit on FanDuel. Pains me to say it. And then Adams hasn't necessarily been involved in this series the way that he is during the regular season. So I don't want to go too crazy there. But if you want to use Adams as a center on DK at 5,300, I would not begrudge you that one. Corey Brewer is probably the only value guy you can play on this team. And, you're looking for something other than what you got in the most recent game. You need those 22, 27-point games that he had in the middle games. So my focus here would be Melo to start. And then Russ is just going to be crazy, I think. But I think his ownership is going to be pretty high. Final team to take a look at, Utah Jazz. 101.75 implied total, 3.5-point underdogs. I'm really hoping that the Jazz close them out. I like the Jazz a little bit. Prime, if the question is why would the Wiz get blown out, they're 7.5-point underdogs. That's not the best. Anyway, for the Jazz, every single game of this series has been showing off a ton of Jazz value. So Donovan Mitchell, Gobert, Rubio, Favors, Crowder on DK. I think all of these guys should be used in some way. I'm not normally the biggest Joe Ingles fan. I think he's a little overpriced. 6,600 on FanDuel is pretty healthy. So my focus would be Mitchell, Gobert, Rubio, and Favors. If I had to prioritize those guys, I'd say give me Gobert for sure, particularly on DK. He's one of my better plays. And then I think Rubio on FanDuel looks to be the second best option, only 7,400. Went for 59 2 nights ago, or 4 nights ago now. Went for 44 and 40. I'll take me some Rubio at 7,400. You guys have any other questions for me? Just wanted to give the old walkthrough. Whew. Thanks, Bill Butler. I just ate some lunch, so I wanted to chat you guys up a little bit, talk a little NBA. Yeah, it's really hard to get away from Gobert at that price point, man. 3,000 or 7,000 on DK is wild. Ooh, Sonic lunch break. Love Sonic. Jalapeno poppers are bomb. I made some quesadillas, so. Oh man, Houston's gonna blow out Minnesota tonight. No Chick-fil-A. I'm gonna pick that up before the stream tonight. My wife has book club, so I need my own dinner, which means spicy chicken sandwich coming down my gullet. Does Valanciunas get good minutes tonight? Depends how many you would consider good. I've got him in for 23. I think that's a pretty decent area to assume he'll be in. How's work with the Osimo crew been? Couldn't be better. Just absolutely couldn't be better. Ryan, I don't know what you're saying. Are you asking me if I've been in a frat? But if that's the question, the answer is no. I was not in a fraternity. If I'm reading that incorrectly, then I don't really know what you mean. Chips Ahoy and Cookie Shake sounds fucking phenomenal, though. Makes me kind of want to just drive to Sonic right now, but it's probably not in my best interest. But yeah, working at Osimo.com has been, without question, the best experience of my life from a work perspective. I love it. I do exactly what I want to do every day. Talk about daily fantasy sports. It's a dream. Do I think Kawhi will get dealt? No, I don't. Would it surprise me? No. But I would bet on him taking the money. It's just too much money to leave on the table if he doesn't stick around in San Antonio. I am an actual employee. Why do I think the Rockets blow out the T-Wolves? Twofold. One, they are 12-point favorites, so right away that leads me to believe that this game is probably going to get out of hand. And second of all, I just don't think the Wolves have looked very good. I think it's just game over for them. Is there an Osimo headquarters? Kind of. We do have an official office space. I don't, like, I've never been there. Consider my home and my personal office like the East Branch, I guess. All right, guys, we've been live 28 minutes. We'll do like 2 or 3 more minutes of any questions, and then I'm going to get out of here. Yeah, that line on the Rockets-Wolves game, that one might be over real quick, especially if the Rockets even have a semblance of a hot shooting night, because I'm not sure the Wolves can keep up with that. Any other questions, or should I get out of here? I mean, I know the 50 of you that are probably on here are like, just stick around, but yeah, it's not going to happen. If you have any other NBA questions, that we'll hit on everything during the live stream tonight. That'll be me and Chris. Yes, we are going live tonight. I'm not in charge of hiring, so I'm not in any position to answer. What's the best way to actually win money? Tournaments or... I don't understand the question. Tournaments and GPPs are the same thing to me, so I don't know what you mean. like, this is going to sound like a ridiculous statement, but the best way to win a tournament is to get lucky. You know, it's not just I need to have 150 lines or something. Like, you need that all to come together. I've had a lot of like top 10s, top 20s and stuff. Really monster lineups, but sometimes you need a very specific set of circumstances. Am I a max entry guy myself? Yes, I am. Do I have Madrid or Bayern? So I had this conversation yesterday with a friend of mine. He asked me who I wanted, and I said, you know, I think Bayern's a better team, and I think it would be cool to get a win over Bayern because I think that would mean more to Klopp after being at Dortmund for so long. But to knock off Madrid and go through Ronaldo just feels like a bigger scalp. So I don't really... They're obviously two of like the best 5 teams in the world. So I don't really have a preference in that if we win the Champions League, we're going through a monster. But I think it'd be cooler to knock off Madrid. So give me Madrid. I'll be watching the Bayern and Madrid match in like 2 hours. So do you guys ever keep certain players or pieces of info to yourselves since you're still players? I don't. I mean, for the past, I don't know, 6 months or whatever, everybody's been on here watching me build my lineups in live streams or videos or whatever. Like, you guys are seeing it. All my stuff's out there. I mean, I make my crunches live to everybody. People see, I give out exactly who my percentages for exposures. I don't have anything that I'm keeping hidden. The stuff that doesn't get out into the public eye is way more than like a projection thing, or like, you know, we're never having conversations. We're not really ever having conversations where it's like, oh, I really like so and so today. Like, he's the guy I'm locking in. You know, if it's not coming up from a statistic basis, nobody's really like fitting extra stuff in. It's all in the back end of the game theory, roster construction stuff that is like the things that don't necessarily get talked about as much. And that's the sort of stuff that's coming too. That's going to be a major feature of our content and the paid content moving forward, is to get more into like the deeper rungs of DFS, whether that's you know, bankroll management, game theory, lineup construction, all sort of these meta topics that don't really get touched on all that much. We want to do more of that and less like, okay, play these 2 guys type stuff. There's not as, you know, that's the content that puts itself out there really easily, whereas we want to make everybody just better in general. Alrighty, last question. What's my favorite NBA player tonight? I'll give one for both sites. I feel like that's the nicest way to do this. So on FanDuel, I think that I would be building around Russ at 10-6. And on DraftKings, man, oh man. On DraftKings, give me Oladipo at 8,100. Alrighty, guys. That's it for me. Again, come to the normal live stream at 6 o'clock right before lock. I'll be on eating Chick-fil-A, rubbing it in Chris's face that I beat him in another bet, and I'm eating dinner on his dime. Check out all our baseball content, whether that's the night shift, Jake's brief rundown of today's slate, or the baseball show that Jake and I did together. Check out the articles. Spotlight hitters, pitchers, and stacks are up. Keep an eye out for slam dunks. Sometimes that's an article. Sometimes that's just a tweet from our Twitter handle, which is @Awesemo_com. With a lot of baseball and stuff going on, sometimes it's hard to get an article up for that, and ultimately you guys just need the names. So sometimes it's a tweet, sometimes it's not. Check that stuff out, and keep an eye on the website. We're working on a bunch of content. We're working to run out the podcast stream, so you should be able to subscribe to our shows moving forward. And for the people that are here, playline.com, we've got another Playline contest going. So playline.com/r/Awesemo. You can get a free $5 when you sign up, and we will all be in the Awesemo.com presents the perfect line bonus, 2,500 guaranteed, 1,000 to first. There's only 1,200 people in the contest, so got a really nice chance at $1,000. Come check that out, and I will talk to you guys later on. I hope you enjoyed this impromptu quick live stream. Adios, everybody.